Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we are at a brand new theme park, at least for me. This is Six Flags at Darien Lake. We've hopped across the border into New York State, and we are going to try out the rides here. We are one of very few in this parking lot right now, so it seems like maybe, with a bit of luck, there's going to be a lot of walk-ons today, but who knows? We'll walk you through every step of the way. Here we go. Let's try it out. Six Flags, Darien Lake.
Right through the gate, a familiar coffee and donut joint awaits. That's right, you can't escape Tim Hortons. Along with Timmy's, there's a candy shop called Coaster Candy, which sells homemade fudge where you can get 2 for free if you buy 4. But there are lots of other candies, sweets, and chocolatey treats to choose from in here. There are a couple of gift shops located by the main entrance, the DL Gear Store, which has all sorts of items from Darien Lake branded shirts, sweaters, and hats, to plush toys, and of course, Hello Kitty merch, which seems to be available at every theme park in the world. Across the way from DL Gear is another store called Fun in the Sun, which was selling some Halloween-themed merch, mostly hats that appear to be repurposed poop emoji hats, as well as some all-year-round novelty hats. Because Halloween is right around the corner, there is also this Six Flags Fright Fest photo op spot with a couple of coffins and this massive skeleton. I love me some good horror-themed photo ops, so of course I had to get a quick photo here. Conveniently located at the front of the park is a map of the area showing all the rides, restaurants, shops, and other amenities, which is actually worth taking a picture of to refer to because the layout of the park is kind of strange. You can also download the app, which also includes a map of the park. There is also a water park located in this area called Hurricane Harbor, which is currently closed for the season. But this does look pretty cool with the tropical vibes and palm trees, kind of giving it a bit of a Donkey Kong Country vibe. And right by what would be the entrance to Hurricane Harbor is Tradewinds, a store that sells all your water park necessities like swimwear, sunglasses, sun hats, and of course lifeguard merch. The rope drop came at 11 a.m. on this rainy Saturday, and myself with only a handful of others made our way to what many consider the main attraction at Darien Lake, the tallest coaster in the state of New York, the Ride of Steel. At 208 feet tall, Ride of Steel is one of the tallest coasters east of the Mississippi River. It reaches top speeds of 73 miles per hour. That's about 118 kilometers per hour for my Canadian viewers. The first drop is a steep 68-degree angle that sends you out and back with several large hills that provide moments of airtime where riders feel weightless. The ride is built by Amusement, who have made some of my favorite roller coasters, including the Velocicoaster at Islands of Adventure. The ride cars are pretty small, 2 seats per row, and the restraint system is minimal, a seatbelt and a small lap bar. Before boarding this ride, I learned of a very unfortunate incident that happened back in 2011. Resulting in the death of a U.S. Army veteran. The rider was a double amputee who was allowed to ride the coaster despite the ride rules stating that guests must have 2 legs to ride. During the ride, he was ejected from his seat. His lack of legs prevented the ride's lap bar from properly restraining him. Since then, the park has emphasized through signage that you need to have 2 legs to ride this ride. That being noted, I took myself and my 2 legs to the ride station, the queue having no theming despite once being named Superman Ride of Steel. The inside of the station looked a little worn down, as did the ride vehicles, which, I'm gonna be honest, was a little concerning. Despite this, people seemed more than happy and willing to strap themselves into this coaster, and I did the same.
Okay, so I just went on the Ride of Steel, and let me tell you, it is a lot of fun, but it was a little unnerving at the beginning because this ride does show its wear and tear visibly. There is a lot of like rusted metal and paint coming off of stuff, which had me a little concerned as we were leaving the station. But after that massive drop there, it was arms up and just thrills and excitement and fun for the whole track. And it's a long track as well. There are 3 drops in total on this ride and a lot of like loops, downward loops. And yeah, I gotta say, I highly recommend it. It was a lot of fun. Had a blast. Can't wait to go right back on it.
With one of the top maximum thrill level coasters under my belt, I decided to make my way to the next big thing, the Viper. Along the way, I happened upon this ride, Blastoff, which bared a striking resemblance to a ride I'm very familiar with at Canada's Wonderland, named Drop Tower. In many ways, this ride was like Drop Tower, but instead of focusing on the drop, it launched you upwards, in a similar fashion to Dr. Doom's Fearfall at Islands of Adventure. The ride reaches a top height of 185 feet and accelerates from 0 to 60 miles per hour during its sudden launch. The ride was manufactured by American company S&S, known for their pneumatically powered rides. And of course, whenever I see a character cutout, I must oblige. This also slowed me down in my journey to get to the Viper. So after walking across the entire park and passing what seemed like endless Midway games, I eventually arrived at my destination, the Viper. Another one of the main attractions at Darien Lake, the Viper is a custom looping coaster made by Arrow and stands at a height of 121 feet. The coaster reaches a top speed of 50 miles per hour, which is about 80 kilometers per hour, with a drop angle of 53 degrees. The Viper features 5 inversions, which, back when it opened in 1982, was the first roller coaster in the world to feature that many inversions. That record held until 1987, when Vortex at Kings Island opened with 6 inversions. You may also notice this ride shares a striking similarity to Dragonfire at Canada's Wonderland, also made by Arrow. It even features an identical double corkscrew. Now, in a similar fashion to Ride of Steel, the station looked god-awful. The ride operator's microphone was held together with duct tape, there was a hole in the ceiling. It really made me question what I was doing getting on board this thing. But like I always do, I threw caution to the wind and strapped myself in.
All right, so I just went on the Viper, which is another maximum thrill roller coaster here at Six Flags Darien Lake. And when I saw this thing, I was a little concerned because it bared a striking resemblance to Dragonfire over at Canada's Wonderland, which is notoriously a kind of rocky ride. Shockingly, despite the fact that the station looks like it's in shambles, the microphone's held on with duct tape, there's a hole in the ceiling. The ride was surprisingly smooth. I don't know if it's because I was like bracing and expecting the worst, but it was actually surprisingly smooth. I liked it a lot.
Moving on to the next maximum thrill coaster, the sun started to come out. Along the way, I took a quick spin on Tin Lizzie's, an antique car ride where you get to steer your own car along a fixed track. Nothing wild, but kind of fun nonetheless. Right beside Tin Lizzie's was Skyscreamer, a Starflyer swing ride similar to Windseeker. I'm gonna be honest, this thing scared the shit out of me. Unlike Windseeker, the seats here were held by metal chains reminiscent of something from a Hellraiser movie. The seats were tiny and offered only a belt and a small metal bar as protection from falling from its top height of 242 feet. Not only was the lack of seat restraints more terrifying than Windseeker, it also moved slightly faster than Windseeker at a top speed of 35 miles per hour. And while I will admit that the view was pretty nice up there, I don't think I'll be in any rush to put myself through that nightmare anytime soon. Next up, the one and only launch coaster at Darien Lake, the Moto coaster. Moto coaster is a steel-launched coaster. As the name suggests, the ride is themed after a motorcycle race. Riders sit in a straddle position on motorcycle vehicles, which certainly provides a unique feel from a traditional roller coaster car. The ride's launch accelerates riders from 0 to 38 miles per hour in just 3 seconds using a flywheel launch system. The 1,200-foot track has a relatively low height of 44 feet and features several turns and camelback hills, but no inversions. The ride's emphasis is on the fast-paced twisting journey rather than large drops.
Okay, just got off of the Moto coaster. Very, very strange concept here. So you have your lap bar come down on your lower back or in the middle of your back, depending on the size of you. You feel like you're literally being clamped by this back bar, whatever you can call it, into the front of the ride vehicle. And that first launch, let me tell you, if you have like lower back pain or something, you need to brace your entire body for what's about to happen to you. And especially actually at the end on the brake run, that's also a recipe for disaster. That's a recipe for some broken vertebrae. So be careful when you go on this thing. It is a bizarre concept. I don't know who came up with this, but I guess experience it, but it's a one and done for me, that's for sure.
Okay, so after the back-breaking experience that was Moto Coaster, I headed to the other end of the park. As I mentioned before, the layout is kind of strange here. Everything is really spaced out. But with the threat of more rain coming in, I had to knock out all the big coasters while I could. The next on the list, a maximum thrill level coaster named Tantrum. Now, just the sight of this thing was nuts. It kind of reminded me of the Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, RIP, that was recently dismantled at Universal Studios Orlando. The ride begins with a vertical lift hill, carrying a single 8-passenger ride car straight up at a 90-degree angle. Upon reaching its drop at 98.4 feet, it immediately plummets down its signature 97-degree drop. It reaches top speeds of 53 miles per hour as it races through the rest of its compact layout, featuring a series of intense elements including 3 inversions. As mentioned before, the park wasn't too busy on the day that I went, and up until this point, mostly every ride was a walk-on, but clearly Tantrum was a more popular ride than most, and I ended up waiting about 15 minutes or so before boarding. Still not bad considering the ride vehicle only seats 8 people.
All right, just got off of Tantrum, and I think this is my favorite ride here so far. This thing goes up this 90-degree ascent, and then it drops you down a 97-degree drop. And there's a couple of inversions along the way. It goes so fast when you go down that drop. It's one of those ones that's like hard to make sense of while it's happening, but you know you're having a great time. I thoroughly love this one. This is a must ride if you come to Six Flags Darien Lake.
With Tantrum in the books, I only had 2 more maximum thrill level coasters to ride, and I saved those 2 for last intentionally. The first of the final duo was a suspended looping coaster, or SLC, called Mind Eraser, which just so happened to be a clone of Flight Deck. You know, the ride at Canada's Wonderland that's famous for being one of the most painful experiences you can have at a theme park. I've been beaten black and blue by the torturous Flight Deck at Canada's Wonderland one too many times, and was not overly excited to have a concussion south of the border where I wasn't medically insured. The fact that it was called Mind Eraser also didn't bode well. On the positive side, Mind Eraser's track at least looked a lot nicer in that fresh red paint, rather than the old prison cell gray that Flight Deck went with. Shockingly, when the train pulled into the station, I noticed that the ride seats were totally different than those of Flight Deck. They scooped in deeper, and the shoulder restraints were not made of hard plastic, but instead a rubbery material similar to the restraints on Yukon Striker. Within moments, my fears eased up, and I was ready to have my mind erased.
Okay, so just got off of Mind Eraser, which is an identical roller coaster to Flight Deck at Canada's Wonderland. However, this one, I must say, is way better. The seats are brand new. They've got shoulder restraints that are similar to the Yukon Strikers, like the rubbery things, so you're not bouncing your head off of like the shoulder restraints. Honestly, this ride is so much better than the Canada's Wonderland version. So Canada's Wonderland, get on it, upgrade the seats, and make sure that it rides as smooth as this. Because you can actually tell what's going on in this. Your head's not rattling side to side. It's not a torture device. This is actually a pretty good ride. That being said, it did just break down. So I don't know what the issue is, but thankfully we got one ride on it before it broke down for the day.
As the masses left Mind Eraser disappointed that it was down, I decided to slowly make my way to the final big coaster. Along the way, I stepped into the Fright Fest Fanatics merch shop, which had some fun statues, a skeleton bone wall, and some pretty cool merch from films like The Evil Dead, Candyman, Saw, and Halloween. Also in this time, I went on a couple of carnival-style flat rides. Sleigh Ride, which was pretty lame, just spins around in circles with absolutely no theming in the covered area of the loop, despite having some nice decor on the outside of the ride. I also went on Rolling Thunder, a super loop that basically just spins you round and round. And despite the nauseating vibe that it gives off, it was actually pretty fun. And because it's that time of the year, I had to stop over at Oktoberfest and get my German grub on in the form of a bratwurst. And just as expected, it was delicious. And it's also never not a good time to listen to some live polka music. With food in my belly and polka in my soul, it was time to ride the last big coaster that I'd been putting off all day. The Predator. Now you might be wondering why I was so nervous to go on this, and let me tell you. Wooden coasters are notoriously rough, especially old ones. Take Wild Beast or the mighty Canadian Mindbuster for example. Thankfully, Mindbuster had some refurbishments, but Wild Beast is the equivalent of being in a 2-minute car crash. And the Predator is no spring chicken. It was built in 1990, making it 35 years old.
The Predator, it'll track you down. New at Darien Lake.
So needless to say, I was a little terrified, especially when this ride is known for its intense and aggressive feel. Let's get into some stats. The Predator stands at 95 feet tall. It has a drop angle of 45 degrees and hits a top speed of 50 miles per hour or 80 kilometers per hour. The track length is a whopping 3,400 feet. When it opened, it had the tallest drop for a wooden roller coaster in New York. It was rated the 9th best roller coaster in the world by Inside Track in 1991. And like I said, it takes pride in the fact that it's an aggressive ride experience. And it seemed to be pretty popular. The line was the longest I'd been in all day. I waited a total of 30 minutes before boarding this wooden beast. It took a bit longer since I knew if I was going to die on this thing, it better be in the front row.
All right, so just did the Predator. This was actually a really smooth coaster for being a wooden roller coaster. It goes super fast. You get great airtime. put all your fears that you previously had for wooden roller coasters aside and give this one a shot. It is actually fantastic.
So with that, I had conquered all the big roller coasters at Six Flags Darien Lake. The only thing left for me to do now was to look out at this lake and learn about the Darien Lake Sharp. And what is a sharp, you ask? Well, half shark and half carp. It was discovered in the 1950s right here in this lake. And what was this over here? Was it the sharp itself? I guess some mysteries will forever remain unsolved.
All right, well, that concludes my day at Six Flags Darien Lake. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. And as always, thanks for watching.